Well, earlier I spoke with the Energy Minister, Michael Shanks, about some of those warnings about the UK economy and also about the threat of strikes affecting the NHS. Thank you so much for being on the programme. So the OBR has released an assessment of the UK economy today, and I'll be honest, it's pretty depressing reading. Sixth highest debt, fifth highest deficit of 36 advanced economies, paying more to borrow money than everyone apart from Iceland and New Zealand. Are you worried?
Well, I think what it underlines actually is the fiscal realities that we've been talking about since before we came into government and since we came into government, and it partly is why the Chancellor's non-negotiable fiscal rules are so important. We said from day one the first duty of this government would be to deliver on economic stability, and that's everything that we've set out to do since we came into government. There's no doubt the public finances are in a difficult state, but what we've sought to do is stabilise them and also deliver the investment that unlocks the economic growth that helps us get out of this situation. So, I mean, everything we've done as a government is getting back onto that stable footing. The OBR's report really just underlines why that is so important.
Because there has been areas where you struggle to get savings past your backbenchers, winter fuel, and more recently, of course, on
define themselves as...
And the OBR has said, you know, echoing really what you've said, you know, planned tax rises have been reversed and more significantly planned spending reductions have also been abandoned. I guess my question is, do the left of your party need to get real on what needs to be done?
Well, look, I think there's a reality that everyone has to understand, which is that the public finances are difficult. It means we do need to prioritise spending, and if we want to spend in areas that really delivers on the outcomes that we've set out as a government, whether it's in the NHS or poverty or in my sector in energy, we then need to prioritise what our spending is. And
so what's
we
your
can't
message
spend
to
money
backbenchers
twice.
then? What's the message?
My message is, look, we're seeking to do as a government to deliver the change we were elected on. We were clear in our manifesto that the absolute bedrock of that was fiscal credibility. And in order to do that, the non-negotiable fiscal rules that the Chancellor's outlined are a key part of that. But it's also how we maintain confidence in the UK as a place to invest. And we've seen the benefits of that just in the past week, where the UK has been announced as one of in fact, the best place to invest in the world. So some of the sort of results of this economic credibility are coming back now, but also the investment.
But some of it is your responsibility as well. You know, the OBR says, you know, the recent announcements on increasing defence spending, reversing cuts to winter fuel payments, scaling back welfare reforms present new downside risks to the fiscal position. So they're saying that there are downside risks that are on your watch.
Well, we've also been really clear that why the comprehensive spending review was so important, that we've taken account of all of those things. We've gone back to the very blank sheet of paper on where departments are spending money to make sure we are spending every penny of taxpayers' money in the most efficient and effective way. We don't disagree with that. Every penny of spending should be accounted for and driving towards our missions as a government, but with that bedrock of fiscal credibility. Talking
about every penny of spending, junior doctors, or resident doctors, as they're now known, have voted in favour of strike action. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I always start by saying the role that everyone in our NHS plays is critically important. So, you know, we're grateful to doctors for everything they do. They have had a significant pay rise over the 3-year period. The Health Secretary's been very clear. He engaged with them from day one in a way the previous government did not. But we think they have now got a fair pay settlement. And that's the bottom line for government, is that is a fair settlement.
So they don't think so? They say that it didn't take into account historical pay freezes?
Well, partly it did, actually. I mean, look, we were really clear that actually the previous government didn't even discuss many of these issues with the BMA. The Health Secretary in week one engaged in those conversations because we did think that actually there was some unfairness at the heart of that. But we do think the pay settlement they've got is significant. Of course, it's right for unions to represent their workers, but I think in this particular case, actually, the majority of doctors either voted against it or didn't participate in it. So we think it is a fair settlement on the table, and that's the line the government has set on this.
So I guess is your message to the unions the same as to some of those backbenchers, that they need to get real about the state of the public finances?
Well, look, I don't think it's about getting real. I think it's about saying there are limitations on what government can do. We do have to balance the pay cases for everyone across the public sector. We have to be fair in those. Yes, we have to reward doctors for the crucial role that they play and for the really critical role they play in holding the NHS together. But we think that is a fair settlement that's on the table at the moment, and that's the line we've taken.
Can I talk to you about Sizewell C? Of course, you've got this big announcement today. Nuclear power station just had a big investment from the French firm EDF. Is it a problem when foreign-owned companies take, big stakes in UK critical infrastructure?
Well, I think really excitingly today, this is EDF announcing they want to be a partner in delivering Sizewell C, which is part of our announcement of a new golden age of nuclear, a really significant investment. Sizewell C, when constructed, will deliver power for 6 million homes. So this is a hugely important project for the country. And it's a partnership between the UK government, the French government and private investors who will come forward in the coming months leading up to the final investment decision on Sizewell. Clearly, the involvement of foreign countries is on a case-by-case basis. We're really clear that the role of China in the future of our nuclear fleet will not, they won't have a part to play in that. But we've got a long-standing history with the French on engaging in nuclear projects. They bring a huge skill set, but they're a really important investor, and today's an exciting day.
My other question, I guess, is about the length of time it's going to take to complete this. I mean, it must be quite frustrating. I read that the environmental impact assessment is longer than the complete works of Shakespeare. I mean, it's no wonder we never get anything built here, right?
They're hugely frustrating. We've been really honest about that. It is ridiculous, some of the lengths that it goes to build infrastructure. We're not saying that we want these things to just be green-lit without any planning. It's really important there's a process. But we've got so many examples of projects that are caught up year after year after year in delay and in process. And all we want is for that process to result in an outcome as fast as possible, because we've got investors interested in building things in Britain. But as long as this appears like you invest in Britain and it will take years to actually come to fruition, we won't succeed. So everything we've done about reforming the planning system is really important. It's also about changing the culture. As a government, we've said we want to build things in this country again. That means getting on and doing it.
We've talked about lots of serious things today, from Sizewell C to the state of the economy. So I hope you might kind of indulge me in this final question.
Oh,
I read that a couple of years ago you ran every single one of Glasgow's 6,000 odd streets. Is that right?
Yeah, I thought that was old news by now. But yeah, it was, I think you call it a moment of madness during lockdown.
Had a bit of time on your hands.
Yeah, pretty much. We were allowed out to exercise, so you might as well make the best of it. So yeah, it started off just a bit of exploring my local area and ended up running every single street in Glasgow. Some streets faster than others, I have to say. But it was great fun, and I encourage anybody to do it.
What's your favourite running song then?
Oh, I don't run with music. No, no, not at all. It's really interesting.
So you ran 6,000 streets without any music?
Yeah. And it's about 3,000 kilometres.
Just with your own thoughts?
I should say it wasn't all in one go. It did take 2 years.
OK.
But great fun.
OK, there you go. Thank you very much indeed for having on the programme.